friends. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Fort Worth Roots. This is a Fort Worth podcast about our community's creators, and you can find us on all your favorite podcast platforms, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Podcast. Just look for Fort Worth Roots. You can also find us on fortworthroots.com and stream it straight off of the website, and on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. It is Fort Worth Roots. Really repetitive, easy to find. Shout out to our friends at Squad STX. Squad STX is an alternative to organizations like Boy Scouts. You can go to their Facebook page now, Squad STX Facebook page, and see some of the stuff they're posting. They just recently took a group of kids out. It looks like they had a great time. That's squadstx.com. Get your boys outside. Shout out to our new friend Royal. Brought the Fort Worth Roots podcast out to Whiskey Garden this weekend. Drinks, fun, and a really badass pool party. And all of our social media, of course, we've got pictures of that up. That event was a lot of fun. I think over the past month, we've done 3 events now. We're kind of making it a thing, but we're trying to get out in the community and connect with people, talk to people in person. And what's really wild is I'm finding out that more people are listening to this show than I realized. Out of the 3 events that we've attended over the past month, Whiskey Garden really threw me off because the crowd there was so young. I didn't think anybody there had heard of Fort Worth Roots. Miss Fort Worth 2020 comes running up to our table and says, "Hey, I like your podcast. I listened to it." And I'm thinking, she's got the wrong podcast. Of course she doesn't. There's no way she's heard of Fort Worth Roots. And then she started talking about episode 61 with Matthew and Trista, and she knew all the details about the episode. And I'm like, no, still I wasn't totally sure. Anyway, I checked it out. She was right about all the details. She knew the lineup better than I did. So getting out into the community is probably a good idea for the podcast, but it's also been really good for me to hear positive feedback from people that have been listening to the show. So, and as it turns out, what I've learned from Psychedelic Panther, River Oaks Car Show, and now Whiskey Garden is that the show is reaching people of every type of demographic, and that's really cool. But wherever you are and whyever you listen, thank you so much. It means a lot. Every time you stream an episode off of Fort Worth Roots, whether it's on Spotify or you get it straight off the website, it shows up on our analytics, and I get to see that. So thank you. If you've listened to several episodes here on Fort Worth Roots, you know that I constantly talk about, hey, if you have any advice or some critique or whatever, you can email me at media@fortworthroots.com. Very seldom does anybody take me up on that. But I did have some feedback from one of our listeners, and as a result, I slowed this episode down. Now, the feedback I got was saying that I had sped the episodes up so much that it was getting to where it was kind of anxiety-inducing. It was so fast. There's no pauses whenever people speak. I thought speeding the episode up to where there were no gaps in the content would actually make it more interesting. But as it turns out, it's harder to listen to. And I just didn't see it that way because I'm looking at it from the perspective of a creator, and the person that shared this information with me is looking at it from the perspective of a listener. So in this episode, I have actually slowed it down. I took fewer gaps out during the editing process so that it's not so hard to listen to. And that's the kind of feedback that is going to help me improve the show. So if you ever have any kind of input for the show, whether it be good or bad, it will be very well received. And you can either DM me on Facebook, call me if you got my phone number. You can email me at media@fortworthroots.com. Carrier pigeon, if that's your thing. Just let me know. And I won't get mad. I won't get my feelings hurt either. I got real thick skin. Kind of under that same subject, our guest today states that he is constantly helping people improve. That's kind of his thing. So I'm also inviting our guest today, who hopefully gets a chance to listen to the episode he guested on, to give me some feedback. Let me know what you thought about this. This might be the first episode he's heard of Fort Worth Roots, so let me know. And the same goes for y'all too, not just this episode, but any of the ones you've listened to. Our guest today is a self-made man that built his brand from the ground up. He's the owner of Nexum Creative Media. Find all the information you need about our guest today on nexumcreative.com. Nexum is Nexm. All right, that's enough talking out of me. Thank y'all for being here, and please give it up for our red curry coconut tuna loving friend, Paul Rogers. Thank y'all for being here. Let's start the show.
I appreciate it, man.
You got a badass pad here.
Thanks, man.
And I've got questions about you, but I've also got a lot of questions about what the hell's going on here.
For sure.
Because once I walked out of here, just going through videos of people that are doing podcasts or whatever, I started noticing that I've been to the place where they're doing these recordings.
Mm-hmm.
That back room there is very popular with local podcasters.
It is very, very popular.
And I didn't realize that initially when you showed me that stuff, but then later I'm like, oh shit, that's Paul's studio.
I've been there. Yeah. So I kind of made it to it because sometimes I don't like being home, you know, kind of like home away from home.
Mm-hmm.
Made like a bachelor pad.
Yeah.
Not a bachelor, but it's kind of cool to pretend like I am here. Be like, yeah, this is my place. It's really neat. It's got a full bar and that's the most fun part.
Yeah, if you're looking at the YouTube video, you can see some of the bar.
That's
not
right.
all of it, but I may or may not have a little bit of extra in my coffee this morning from the bar.
It's just a little extra adult.
Yeah.
We just have extra adult in our coffee.
Cheers.
Cheers, my man.
Maybe this will help get the eyes open.
Yeah, or shut them. We'll see. We'll see.
It's getting kind of nasty out there. I don't think there's supposed to be any rain today, but I was telling you I've got the Psychedelic Panther that I'm going to later to set up a pavilion and do recordings with people out there. So hopefully that weather will behave itself.
I cannot stand this weather. I just got a new drone for the company, and it's been like 30-mile-an-hour winds, and it's been horrible for drones.
What's the max?
I mean, you can get up to 20-something on the drone that I have, but the range on how far it can get away from you
wears out the battery.
Oh yeah, wears out the battery, and it won't go as far. It loses connection because of the wind.
Now, what grade drone are we talking about here? Is this a $200 dilly whapper from Best Buy or
No, I can't do that. No, I mean it's a Mavic Air 2S. So it's the new one by DJI. It's pretty cool. I'm actually gonna return it and get another one. I get a better one. So it's a couple $1,000s.
Damn.
Because I want to get the best. Right. And the new one I'm gonna get's about $3,000, but I think it's gonna be worth it.
Yeah.
Just because it performs better in lower light and be able to give my clients and myself more of a cinematic feel, which I like.
I'm gonna ask you a question about this, and if you want me to take this out of the recording, I can.
Yeah, no, do your thing.
Those drones, apparently, and correct me if I'm wrong, please do. Don't you have to have a special license through the FAA?
Yeah, so the way that it works, from my understanding, is that if you are making money with it commercially, then yes.
Right.
And I'm not yet. Right. I just got the drone, so I'm just kind of hobbying it right now. So I don't have the license yet. But once I start to bring it into the business and do all that kind of stuff, then I will have to get the license and all kinds of crazy stuff. But what's kind of cool about it is on the app through the phone, it tells you how high I can go, tells you where I can go, tells you everything. It tells you so I don't mess up. Yeah, I can bypass those, which I tried one day, and it didn't. I got nervous. Yeah, I was like, "This is gonna get shot down."
Well, maybe not shot down, but there could be an incursion at 800 feet. Anywhere around here, you risk running into aircraft that you don't see until that drone is in little bits, right?
That is true.
So there's the real risk. Shot down, probably not so much, unless you go flying around like a military base.
Well, see, that's what's funny, because by my house, I'm over by Carswell.
Okay.
And I'm like, well, I can't fly it at all much over there.
Yeah, that is restricted airspace.
That is restricted airspace, and I got as close as I could one day to it, just so I could just to test it, and it went right, came right back home.
So it pulled the plug and
said, no, we're coming right back home.
Well, that's awesome that it's got that feature.
It's really, really cool. So it's a lot of fun.
It's tied into the whoever handles the airspace. I should know this shit, but I don't.
I don't know anything.
Well, I damn near had my pilot's license, so I should.
Oh, yeah, you should know this shit. Come on, man.
I soloed. I was in an airplane. I flew it by myself. I went all over, like from Plano to Greenville Major Airfield, and then down to Mesquite, and then back to Addison.
Oh, nice.
So I did that by myself. So I can fly a plane. Like if there's a zombie situation and we just need a pilot on the quick, I got you.
Nah,
I can do it.
I'm terrified of heights.
Have faith, Paul. I got you.
Oh no, I don't care who's flying. I'm terrified of heights.
Yeah,
I'm like almost 6'4", and I get scared walking.
I don't think you could cram a 6'4" dude into a Cessna, could you?
I've been in a Cessna.
Oh man.
I was younger.
There's no leg room. There's no leg room for a 5'7" dude. I know that.
There's no leg room in any plane really for me. My knees are crammed up into the seats in front of me all the time.
Who do you like to fly with when you're going commercial? Gripping the back of the headrest because you're terrified.
The only thing that's bad for me is just takeoff.
Yeah.
I don't like the feeling of where my stomach goes.
See, my deal is landing.
Landing's so easy to me.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm like, we're heading towards the ground.
Well,
because we're supposed to be heading towards the ground, right?
In a controlled fashion.
Right, in a controlled fashion. On a takeoff, if all of a sudden we head towards the ground, that means something went horribly wrong.
Well, I mean, if you're going to have the best chance of walking away from something is if there's like an issue as you're taking off, right? Because you're not 30,000 feet up in the air.
I don't know. I just stop fucking with me, okay? There are 3 stages to flying: takeoff, flying, and landing.
Right.
And 2 out of the 3 I'm good with, so leave me alone. I am just don't fuck with me.
I'm trying to comfort you. I think
that's not comforting.
I think crashing on the takeoff would be the best. Out of all,
I don't think crashing's the best. So if I had to choose, I like American, actually. Spirit's my favorite. I'm so kidding.
Dude, okay. I was like, you were wired differently.
That was scary.
Spirit and Alaskan are my 2 least favorite.
I've never been on Alaskan.
It's just as bad as Spirit.
Is it?
Yeah.
Southwest is pretty good. It's okay.
Yeah, Southwest I like.
It's good if you're in a pinch and you got to get somewhere real quick. Yeah, and they're pretty nice. I don't like the fact. See, I used to do some real estate stuff with a buddy of mine, so I would go out and be like the enforcer for the general contractors.
Breaking kneecaps?
I'm Italian, so don't put out. I will not. Say yes, or I will not deny it. But it could have happened. So watch out, everybody out there.
I will not make a statement that will further incriminate me at this time.
I will not incriminate myself. But no, I'd go out there and just make sure everything was done. I'd go check that there are certain spots that a lot of general contractors will skip. And I had to go check that stuff out. And then I'd have to be in town until they fixed it, until they finished it, whatever. So I would fly Southwest a lot, but I wouldn't have any bags, so I'd come back the same day. Mm-hmm. But taking bags on a plane now, it's damn near as expensive as the flight.
Yeah, especially if you're with Spirit, because they do the a la carte thing, right?
Which is so does Southwest now. Southwest they only have 1 carry on, and then it costs to check.
Damn.
Well, for the I guess I don't know if it's all of them or if it's just the only flights that I've done. I don't know, but I was like, man, this is dumb.
Yeah.
Like I remember when you could just bring a couple of bags, and I'm thinking like Home Alone days, where you just kind of show up to the airport.
Pre 9/11 when it was good. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah, and if you talk to anybody that knows the industry, the commercial air travel industry is always suffering, always. And they're always worried that they're going to have to close down this company or that company, or there's going to have to be a merger in order to save one of them, just because it's so hard to make the tickets cheap enough that people want to fly and keep the wheels turning.
Yeah.
Because it's just economically, it's almost impossible. And I think that through federal subsidies, it's the only real way that they're able to keep these things going.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay, so let's talk about the studio and what you got going on here.
Sure.
What gave you the idea initially?
So I've been an audio engineer for like 18 years.
Okay.
Right. So I've been doing music forever. Started in my bedroom, went into college and did it in my dorm room, and then got out of college, went back to my bedroom, and my mom actually the back of my mom's house. I was doing recordings.
And while that's all going on, are you making money or are you just playing around?
I'm making a little bit, but it's mainly was just playing around. I loved music. I went to school for opera singing, actually. So I always wanted to do it. And I don't sing. I just sang opera for school. Great training. I've been in several music groups. I'm a singer.
Yeah.
I have been forever. So I always wanted to record myself, and I got really screwed over in studios. So
what do you mean?
Just music industry sucks.
Yeah.
And studios just say they'll give you one thing, and then you leave, and you're like, that is not what I paid for.
Yeah.
Thousands of dollars that we had no money.
Yeah.
And my mom would save up and, do everything possibly good and pay in payments, installments to help me get a single or whatever. And it was just never turned out the way it was. So that kind of kept that in the back of my mind. So I was just like, I'll just do it myself.
Yeah.
So I taught myself everything. I interned at a bunch of different studios. And then I decided, I'll start recording people. Probably shouldn't have done that because I was not very good. And
weren't quite there yet?
No, I wasn't quite there yet. And so years and years had gone by, and I was just like, I got let go from a position. They were downsizing. And I was like, man, I'm just going to go for it. Because I'd gotten pretty good at this point. And a lot of people started coming to me, but I was like running out of my house. And I was like, it's sitting safe.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right. So once I was I go from this position, I was like, I'm going to just go find an office space. I'm going to turn it into a recording studio, and I'm going to see what I can do.
/ man cave.
/ man cave. Well, it wasn't this one.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't this one at all. No.
Where did that one start off?
This sure as hell wasn't the first idea. That would have been really going for it all. No, I had to make a name for myself first. The first one was in Haltom City.
Okay.
Haltom City, at a little studio, at a little office building out there. And I built a booth. My buddy and I spent like 2 weeks straight, just like no sleep, and just
putting this thing together.
Putting this whole thing together. Made it look really, really cool. Made it look like a spaceship. That was my thing. I wanted people to come in and feel like they were away from the world, and they come in and they get in the spaceship and create something.
You still got pictures of that?
Yeah.
I'd love to see that. If you'll send it to me, I'll put it in this episode.
Yeah, it's very similar to the one I have to my recording studio now, but it's just down, less.
Right.
Not as good. It looked cool.
Well, you got more ideas now. You don't have just one theme. You got a lot.
So I was, running that for a couple of years, actually 3 years, and it was doing okay. Audio engineers don't make any money. We just don't. That's just not what happens. We just, it's based, there's no real way you just don't make any money.
Yeah.
There's no real, it's just the reason is because people can do it themselves, which is cool, but it's just not as consistent.
Yeah.
Right. And if you're not getting huge artists in there, and that was my thing, is I didn't want huge artists. I wanted to help the local artist out because I was that local starving artist.
Yeah.
I didn't want to charge $10 an hour because then you'd get everything in there.
Right.
But I wanted to charge a certain amount where people that were really serious could come in and they had a chance to be able to get something out into the world that they'd be proud of.
Yeah.
Right. And that was my big thing.
Get what they're paying for too. Right?
Yeah, get what they're paying for. And I could have charged a hell of a lot more. Like I had the same equipment as some of the Dallas studios, but I didn't. I wanted to make sure that people felt like they could do it. They could afford it. That was my biggest thing. Is I went to business. I went through a psychological standpoint instead of just like hey, let's make some money.
Yeah.
So anyways,
still got to eat though.
I see. Yeah, still gotta eat. Kind of. Just get some tuna packets and some crackers, and I'm fine. So then I had somebody come in and they were like, hey, we need to do a podcast. And I was like, I can't do that. All I have is a booth. We have 2 guests. And I was like, uh-oh. So I went down to the building owner and I was like, hey, you got another office space? And they were like, yeah, we've got one right around the corner from you. I was like, okay, cool, I'll take it. And then took 2 days. And because I was like, yeah, I can do a podcast. Couldn't do it.
Wow, that really blows my mind. What was the logistical issue?
That I couldn't do a podcast? Because I had a tiny booth. It's a 5x7 booth.
Oh, shit. Okay, so, yeah, literally couldn't get that many people in there.
No, couldn't do that many people, and it just wasn't working.
That's crazy.
So I was like, yep. So I rented this little space, and I was making halfway decent money, and I had saved some stuff up, and I was like, okay, I'll just do it.
Yeah.
They gave me a good deal on it because I was already a tenant in the building, and built a desk, built a back wall, or built a background, put a TV on the wall, put some logos up, and I was like, all right, I can do it. And did it within like 3 days. Because I had this client that was willing to pay more than I'd ever seen in the recording studio for a podcast. And I was like, of course I can do that. Of course I can do that. And I told him, I was like, it's under construction right now, but I can do it. And I was like, oh, God, I got to find it. I got to start construction.
Yeah.
Right? So we did that.
What year is this?
This was 3 years ago.
Really?
Actually,
okay.
Yeah. This was 3 years ago whenever it decided to mutate.
Yeah.
That's what I call it. I don't even think evolve is the word.
Explode. Yeah.
Yeah. So I started doing podcasts, and then it started getting crazy because everyone wanted a podcast.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And then it started getting really, really busy. And about a year in, I was like, I've got this vision. It was about this place. And to the T, this place is exactly what I wanted.
Nice.
Now it's not what I want. I want more.
Well, of course.
I want something bigger and better and badder, and it's great.
Yeah. Well, that's what Paul does, it sounds like. You just keep creating and improving.
Can't stop.
And
it's an addiction.
That's awesome.
It's a better addiction than anything else, right?
So far, yeah.
This is my substance, right? Yeah, so far, right? So that happened, and then I had this dream, like even down, I know they won't be able to see this on YouTube, but down to the pipes connecting the TV, that was part of my dream.
Yeah.
And I just said, you know what, I'm going to do it. So that was 2.5 years ago, and I looked for this place and had some big clients coming through, and the building just wasn't me. And I was like, you know what, I have to design something myself. I want it to be me.
Right.
Like if you look in here, this is what my brain looks like, because it's like an ADD nightmare / dream. Because it's like, oh my gosh, there's so much to pay attention to, but then it's like, oh, there's so much to pay attention to. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like a gift and a curse for someone that has really bad ADD like me. But I've learned to harness it, thank goodness, because that's what I have to do all day long is create and tons of ideas. So then Nexum Creative kind of just blew up. I started, 2020 happened actually. COVID happened. Yeah. You know, and right when I was doing this, right as this place was being built. And
you're thinking, oh shit.
Well,
terrible
I thought
timing.
I would, but
everybody did.
Right. I thought it was terrible timing at first, and then I noticed businesses shutting down.
Yeah.
And then I looked online for their presence, and there was none.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is smart. I was like, because instead of, people may not like this, but instead of feeling sorry for yourself and closing, because a lot of people did that. Not saying everybody did. Right. But a lot of people were victims and decided not to evolve, not to change, not to
adapt.
Yeah, adapt and pivot. Yeah. You know, to do something different, and they ended up shutting down. So I was like, I'm not going to do that. Right. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to find a way to be, you know, recession proof and COVID proof and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, content. Yeah. Have to produce content. Everyone needs content, especially when everyone's at home and no one's driving around looking for your places. Right, whenever you're not seeing billboards, you're not seeing this. You're on your phone 101% of the day.
Now it's 401.
Exactly.
Because we're all stuck inside.
Exactly, because you're all stuck inside. So I'm like, so people need content. So then I was like, I'm going to do a whole media company. So over the years, because of the building I worked in, I met a lot of TV people. There was a TV station downstairs, so I met a lot of people. I did a lot of sound for them and stuff. So I met some amazing, amazing people. I believe in community. I believe in networking. I believe in creating a team for yourself. Maybe it's not like a designated team, but it's a team that you can go to and turn to for things that you can't do yourself. Yeah. And so I created that over these 4.5 years. And I've got some of the best people you could possibly imagine to do every single bit of what content creation needs. So, you know, fast forward to now, I mean, I've got this big studio and we're creating content. We also do podcasts and stuff, but I mean, we literally are a full media company with turnkey solutions for any kind of content creation ever.
I walked into down the hallway, back right room, I think, if I'm remembering right, and you open the door and it's sensory overload. You're like, oh shit, what is this?
Yeah, the infinity wall white room.
That is cool as shit, and I don't even know what's going on in there, but I want one.
Right, yeah, and everybody does. So yeah, it's really cool. It just gives a place. So an infinity wall, if you know anything about what that means, on video, if you've got no corners, it can look like it goes on forever. Right, so that doesn't look like you're in a box. So you stand a doctor in front of that talking about a product, then the main focus is what? The doctor.
All on the doctor. Yeah.
All on the doctor because you just have this white abyss.
No other point of reference.
Exactly. Yeah. There's no other point of focus at all, you know? So it's really cool for photo shoots. I've shot music videos back there. We've shot little commercials. We've shot educational courses, training courses. Virtual courses are huge now. That's one of my claim to fame is we do a lot of virtual courses, anywhere from Velvet Box to any kind of injectors. We have an injector course for lips coming up in 3 or 4 weeks. Yeah, May 20th, I think, something like that.
I know one of the characters that's into that particular industry, and I think she does all her stuff here. It's injector and then a name. I can't remember her name.
Heather.
Injector Heather?
Injector Heather. Yeah. She's the one we're doing a lip injection video for, training course, because people are still kind of scared. And people have grown accustomed. Well, the world will never go back to how it used to be. It just never will.
Right.
Because the world adapted, the world pivoted.
It's like post 9/11.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It really, really is. And I kind of wish it would, but then part of me doesn't.
Yeah.
It's just like I have to be real and be like, the world's never going to be back and never going to go back to what it was. So now what? Right? We can't control that. So stop thinking about it.
Well, it goes back to, earlier you were saying some people adopted the victim mentality and then some people adapted.
Which I'm not saying that there aren't victims out there, because there were some really shitty things that happened to people in that pandemic that people can't control.
Yeah.
But there are also things that we can control. And that victim mentality, because being a victim and having a victim mentality are two different things.
Right.
Because you can be a victim.
100%.
And that's totally fine, because there are victims in the world of so many things.
Right.
But you can also be a survivor of that victim, of being that victim. You can transform that victim mentality or that victim status into being a survivor, or an overcomer or whatever like that. And that's what I look for. And that's what I believe is the right move. Because, I've seen people that stay in that victim mentality forever, and it ruins their lives. It ruins a lot of things. And so, back to all that, the world's never going to go back to where it was. So, like with virtual courses, so big, they're not doing conferences. They canceled E3 this year.
Which one is E3?
The video game one.
Okay,
the massive worldwide, it's in person and virtual. Canceled it.
What? Why virtual?
I don't know.
Damn.
I don't think it's just not worth it. Who the hell is going to pay to go online and look at people when I can do that for free?
So they tried it last year and the year before and it just didn't work?
They canceled it 2020.
Okay.
They were going to bring it back last year. I think that they did it because I was going to take my son to see it. I was going to take my son out there because it was in Orlando. It was going to be our little guys trip. It was going to be so much fun. And they released a statement, because I think it's in like September or August or October. It's right around towards fall. And they released a statement, I guess 2 weeks ago, saying E3 is fully canceled. And I was like, wow. And it just kind of goes to show that this world is no longer going to be the way it used to be. Conferences aren't held like they used to be. Churches aren't even held the way they used to be.
Is that not back to normal? See, I wouldn't know, but...
I wouldn't either, but I've just seen a lot more virtual is what I mean. I'm just saying that they're looking for a lot of churches, because they contact me a lot.
Right.
And that's the only reason I know that.
Right.
Is they contact me a lot and say, we need some virtual things.
And this is something where they want to get in front of that infinity wall to do their virtual
anything.
stuff?
Because we can, it's not just in studio stuff that we do. We can travel the world and
you're doing
whatever.
AV work with some of these.
We're doing
places?
everything, and we've got a guy for all of it.
Yeah,
which is several guys for all of it. The best in the business is, because I don't believe in if I'm going to push out $1 million product in quotations, because I believe that there's a big disconnect with that. That people can't maybe not can afford $1 million product or $1 million production. But I believe that doesn't mean they don't deserve it.
It's like Southwest. We were talking about the ticket prices. You got to make it cheap enough that people will buy it. But you also have to make it enough that you can still eat something besides tuna packets.
Right, yeah. No, I have a whole refrigerator full of tuna packets.
I'm not dogging on your tuna packets.
They have red curry. What is it? Red curry coconut?
Lemon. Lemon's my favorite.
That's just so boring.
Yeah, well, sorry.
I had higher hopes for you, bud.
Well, I'll try the curry.
It's Thai. What is it? Red curry coconut.
See, that's too much. It's too much. It's too many words.
Well, you don't have to keep reading
tuna.
It. Just eat it. It's delicious. Anyways, so yes, I had a lot of churches coming to me, a lot of virtual worlds. So that's where all the courses are coming in, because everyone wants to be a coach. And I believe that there are a lot of people in this world that can coach something.
Yeah.
And why not make something once, pay one price for it, sell it forever? There are so many industries out here, like Injector Heather, who's amazing, owns House of Beauty, right? She is going to do her stuff, and she's known all over. And it's so cool because, she just does one course filmed once, and it's not like it's going to change.
Right.
There's a way to inject, and there's a way to do injections really well.
Yeah.
And she's going to do that, and then she'll have a product to sell, a tangible product to sell forever,
right,
until something in the industry changes. But that's pretty few and far between when it comes to just a technique.
It's got some pretty serious shelf life.
It really does. It really does. So anybody out there, start thinking about that.
Yeah.
Because if you have something to teach and it can help make other people either better, because that's kind of one of my downfall. It's kind of one of my gifts and curses. I love making people better. And I really, really do. Like, that's a big thing for me. Like, I've got friends of mine that are in the videography world and in the media content creation world, and they're just sitting. And I'll invite him in. I'll be like, hey, man, come up here and let's shoot something.
Yeah.
Let's do anything. Because he's like, well, I just don't have any clients. I'm like, well, pretend you do.
Yeah.
And let's make something.
That's awesome.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because I'm not charging them for it, because it helps me. It helps, whenever I'm not in the studio creating something and I'm recording something because it helps me perfect my craft.
Right.
Shot a tequila commercial a couple weeks ago because I was bored for Tres Agave's tequila. Not even sponsored by them, but I put it out there because I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a product video. So I made a product video.
Just on your own. They didn't know about this. You just
I just did it because I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try some really cool things and see if I can make a really cinematic product video. So I did, and so I love helping people because I believe that people have a tendency to be hard on themselves, which is good, but too hard on themselves, where they stop themselves from moving forward. And I've been there, and I know that point, and I hate that point. And it's interesting because as I've evolved as a human, it's like it's hard to have friends who don't have motivation. Yeah. Because I'm like, what are you doing? Yeah. Like I still like them, but I can't. They're not close friends. Yeah. And in this industry, and I'm also so blunt and honest that people don't know how to take it. Yeah. Like, I'm very blunt.
Well, we'll definitely take your criticism because I've been begging people to tell me where I'm fucking up, and I'm not getting any emails. So, Paul, you are welcome to just string me out.
I can't wait to tell you where you're fucking up. No. I was going to say something earlier, and I completely forgot.
I'm so good at doing that.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. That's okay.
Well, I know you're telling me the truth. You do want people to be better. Like earlier when I said, I only want the lemon tuna, you're like, no, you need to try all these flavors.
Sophisticate your palate, sir.
Yeah.
You gotta make it smarter.
Well, I think your head's in the right place, man. And I agree with you to do anything in life. Building your team up doesn't necessarily mean like forming a roster for your softball team, but just the people that you surround yourself and enrich your community with, those are the people on your team.
Oh, 100%. And that's one of the things I tell people. I'm just like, listen, there's no such thing as competition. Because there just really isn't. Yeah. Unless you're competing. Unless you're competing in a sport, there's no such thing as competition. And even in that, there's no way to be better than somebody else without being better than yourself the day before, right? Sure. You being better than you've ever been in that moment is the only way you can compete. And if that better is better than somebody else, then that's a bonus, right? So my belief and my standpoint, there's no such thing as competition. You know how many media companies there are in Fort Worth?
There's a lot, yeah.
There's a shit ton, right? But what they don't have is what? Me.
Paul, yeah.
They don't have me.
And they don't have this dope-ass studio.
Hell no, they don't. And they don't have adult coffee.
They don't.
They may or may not. Well, they may. I don't know.
They don't.
But it may be closet adult, like in like a drawer where they, have you seen that TikTok where they're like, what is work taught you to do, or what's a bad habit that work made you do, and it has this guy just dumping liquor into his coffee. He's like
like running off the rim, filling it over. I haven't seen that one.
That's funny. But I do believe in that. I believe in no competition, but there is community, because every single person can do something great, and you don't have to have the most incredible setup, but you don't have to have, you can do it very minimally. Yeah. But having the right team, having the right mindset, because ideas go a long way, and it's one of those things. Another thing that I try to help people do is I coach a lot of people in the business world about really getting what you're worth. because that's another issue that people don't do. I've got friends of mine that charge nothing, and they've been doing it for years, and they're amazing.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, I won't have that client. And I'm like, and that's okay.
Because you'll have somebody else
You'll
that
have
will
somebody
pay for
else.
it.
But the one thing, it's kind of like, you know how bad news travels fast, right? Cheap work travels fast too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you do amazing work and you're charging a fraction of the price, then people are going to be like, okay, use him, take advantage of it.
It's your death nail too.
It is.
My first business, I had a landscape design company, and that's exactly what I did to myself.
Yeah.
I was the cheapest outfit in town, and I was overloaded with, too much work. And, usually you'd say, well, too much work is a good thing.
Nope.
Not if you're doing it for next to free.
Right.
So
it becomes not worth it, and then you start resenting it, and then you start not liking anything that you're doing, and it makes another miserable.
That's exactly right.
Of course, because, resentment is like one of the biggest, most detrimental things you can do for a mind, body, and soul.
Yeah.
I mean, it just really is.
And that's what ended up happening. I hated it. I wanted out of it so bad that I gave all my guys, I think 4 or 5 weeks. I was like, guys, I'm shutting this down.
Yeah. Couldn't do it. Wasn't making you happy.
They were miserable. I was miserable. Everybody around me was miserable. It was awful. So, yeah, you definitely have to make sure that, because nobody talked about this in high school, running your own business. Of
course not.
It's an education that you got to go out and pay extra for.
Well, we're kind of also, we're kind of conditioned to not open your own business.
For sure. 100%.
We just really are.
Yeah.
We're conditioned to just follow suit. And I can't do that. I did it I was in sales, advertising, and marketing forever. I was great at it. I did great in sales. I was personable. I could talk to anybody.
Yeah.
The owners of the companies would love me because I was so honest. I mean, there were times where I even told an owner to fuck off once, and he gave me a promotion. I didn't know who he was. He said something to me, and I was like, hey, man, I bleed the same blood you do. You don't get to talk to me that way. I was like, I don't care.
Turns out
it was the owner of the damn company. And I was like, because he just came at me wrong, and I was like, listen, man, there's only so much I can do.
Yeah.
I was like, and I'm also not going to sell something to somebody that they don't need, first of all, or that's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not going to screw someone over for a paycheck.
Yeah.
I was like, I'd rather make a minimum and then have them be happy, because guess what happens when they're happy? They keep bringing people back to me. They keep coming, and that one sale is not worth the years of sales that I'll get from that one person that trusts me.
Yeah.
Right? And I was like, so no. And he was like, well, you know what? We should bring you over here and over here. And I was like, really?
Sounds like he needed that.
Really?
He's been at a position for so long that nobody had the balls to say something like, and you might not have either if you knew he was the owner of the company, right?
Yeah, maybe not, man. Probably not. Just because
reined it in just a little bit.
And I was probably having a bad day. I was like, man, I didn't eat my tuna today. My red curry coconut what is it? What is it? I don't know. Red.
This is your tuna. Dude.
I know. Hold on. Red curry coconut.
See, if it was just lemon, you wouldn't have this problem.
All right, well, you know what? I also wouldn't have said that because I have red curry coconut in me. That's what made me say it. That's like my Popeye spinach.
You're a trip, Paul.
I actually just remember what I was going to say.
Oh, go.
So, another reason why I created this, because I was talking about this earlier, is that I created this company because I believe that small to medium-sized business, because I don't really target large businesses.
Sure.
Now, I get some, but I don't target them because I believe that they have kind of the money to do whatever they need to do, right? So I target the smaller and middle-sized businesses because they usually don't get to have the $1 million productions. Right. They just don't. When I say million, once again, it's in quotations for those of you not looking at the YouTube, meaning the best of the best production, right?
Yeah.
So what I've created here is, instead of having a team of 20 people whom you see on every single $50,000, $100,000 commercial, 20, 30 people running one commercial, I bring one guy.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm a fraction of the price because of it. I don't need teams and teams of people. Now, if there's something that we need that we can't do ourselves efficiently,
bring somebody
of course I'll bring somebody in. But I'm not going to bring a lighting guy for the lighting guy's girlfriend. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm just not going to do that. You know what I mean? You know, she needs to look good on the sidelines while you're looking good on here, while you're making him look good. And then I also need you to bring him coffee, her coffee, him coffee, and tuna, red curry coconut, right?
Not
like we don't need that.
Right.
You know, usually we've done everything from commercials to training videos to short films with just 2 people.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm able to do what I do at the price rates I'm doing. Yeah, I mean, video production and content creation isn't cheap. It never will be. And if you find someone that's cheap, wait till you wait till the end product. Now, I'm not saying you can't find some gems out there, because they are, but I'm hopefully going to get to them and make them charge you more because they deserve more. Right. So that's what I've created, because I believe that all these medium to small size businesses need that production, because otherwise they just can't grow.
Yeah.
And they need constant content all the time. Everyone does. If you have you got people like Nike, ESPN, sports, all the sports stuff. They have like 30 different podcasts.
Right.
There's a reason for that. Because guess where it goes back to? ESPN.
Yeah.
30 different ESPN podcasts. Guess where it takes you? Right back to ESPN. Right. So the multiple streams of content drive you down. It's like what is it? Rivers to the ocean. You know what I mean? You've got all that, and you got all these fish, and then boom, there we go.
What do they call that? Click funneling or something like that?
Yeah, it's creating that funnel to be able to bring people back to your true moneymaker.
Yeah. I've got the Instagrams and the TikTok and the Twitters and the Facebooks, and you got to keep feeding it. You have to keep giving it stuff.
It's like a little gremlin.
It's hungry. It's so hungry.
Don't give it water.
I hate it. I don't even mess with Twitter anymore.
Yeah, I never got on Twitter.
I can't. I've got it. I've got the Fort Worth Roots Twitter account, but I look at it and I'm
just post it to it, like just guide everything there, like how you can just forward it.
I do that with Instagram and Facebook.
Thank goodness they're the same company now, because then I can do that too now.
Yeah.
I'm so bad with it. It's like I teach all this stuff and I create it all, but then who's doing it for me?
Right.
I don't have time to do it for me.
It's time consuming.
It's more than a full-time job.
But then, you were talking about whenever I walked in here yesterday evening, you and your son shot a 2-minute long video, a little horror flick, which you showed me, and it was awesome. If you'll send me that file or let me use it, I'll put it in the YouTube video. That would be sick. But you're just constantly creating.
Well, I have to be busy.
Yeah.
So, that's my biggest downfall. Yeah. Is if I'm not creating something, I feel like the scum of the earth, piece of shit. Yeah. Like I really do. So yesterday,
what is that about? Because I do that too. If I go home and I don't do shit, I feel like a bad person.
I do too.
Like I wasted a gift or something. You know?
No. Well, because I think that people like us have realized that we live once, and that every day that goes by that we don't do something better, that's one day lost.
Yeah.
Because there's one thing in this entire world, one thing that we can never get back. Because we can get money back. Yes, we may lose people, but we can find love again. You know? Yeah. Whether it be a relative or anything, we can love someone again. Yeah. So it's not, we haven't lost that love. We've just lost the physical being of that person. Yeah. Right? And we can get someone to fill that void a bit, to have that person back.
Right.
You know, so we can get money back. We can get our looks back. We can get all this stuff. We can buy looks now. You know what I mean? But
call Heather the injector.
That's right. Injector Heather. Get her. House of Beauty, baby.
That's it, Injector Heather.
But what we can't get back is time.
Yeah.
That's the one thing in this world we'll never get back. We're going to get back limbs. Like we can have stuff. I mean, we can literally get back anything but time.
Yeah.
And I think that whenever you go into business for yourself, and you kind of, so like I was telling you, I made that switch of that honesty switch that like, I feel like I'm like negative Nancy all the time, but it's more of like, I know that this world isn't really for us to succeed. We have to make it that way. Like the world's not just sitting around being like, all right,
just give me shit.
Let's hope you win.
Sliding you tuna packets under the door.
Right. Shit, if they did, I'd be I'd be up there with Elon. But you know what I mean. So the world is going to run no matter what.
Right.
And you have to become successful in it. No, and that's what people don't get, is that, and that's what I stress to so many people. I'm like, if you're looking at going your own business, just do it.
Yeah.
If you go bankrupt, who cares?
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you right now, if you're at this for whatever company that you're in, you die tomorrow, your job position is in the paper or in the magazines or in the internets or in the Indeed the next day.
Yeah, they'll have somebody warming your seat in 24 hours.
Of course, if they don't already have it. Because guess what? They have to keep running, and that's exactly the way the world is. So you have to make that impact. If you don't make an impact within yourself, it may not be worldwide impact. Yeah. It may be, but it may not be.
Doesn't have to be.
It has to be
individual
your
inside
world.
your own community.
Your world needs to be impacted. For sure. You know? And if you can feel that, then every day is so cool. It's like being an entrepreneur is like the best struggle in the world. Because it may suck sometimes, because it does. Yeah. But I'd rather live under a bridge and like be my own boss than have to go make money for somebody else.
I 100% agree with you. You also have to find something that you truly are passionate about.
Oh, 100%.
Because if you get into something,
and don't stop trying to. But to piggyback off that is that, but you can't all the time just jump into the main thing that you want to do. Yeah. You've got to work your way up.
It's called bridge building.
Exactly.
I had a doctor on. She was like episode 16 or something. Dr. Carter, Stevie Carter.
Okay.
And we were talking about that, the bridge building process, because you can't just go, okay, I'm going to open a pizza shop tomorrow.
Right.
You got to figure out how to make a pizza.
Of course.
You got to get the pizza oven. You got to find the building. You got to secure some money for advertising. There's things that you got to do.
Everything.
So, yeah, got to do a little bit of bridge building. Can't jump right into it, or you will be living under a bridge.
You will be.
And nobody's going to buy your bridge pizza.
No.
Even if you put Cajun Thai jerk.
It's red.
Spicy red.
Curry coconut. If I have a pack in there, I'm giving you a pack before we leave.
I'll take it.
Because I think I do have a pack.
And I'll eat it. And then later, you're not going to have any. And the only thing you're going to have in that drawer back there is lemon. And you're going to be like,
I don't buy lemon. Because you know why? I'm not boring.
There's no time in life for lemon.
There's no time in life for lemon. Lemon's been around forever. If there's not 3 names in my flavors, I'm done. Red curry coconut. Hey, check that out. Come on.
Jesus. Paul, you're great, man. I got one question before we get out of here.
Let's do it.
I wanted to ask you last time, and if I don't ask you this time, I'll be really upset at myself. What is going on with these mannequins?
My mom makes them, actually.
They are incredible. Yeah, that one right there must have taken forever.
It did. It took a long time.
1,000 little gears in there.
And she individually did every single gear. My mom's pretty amazing. I got a lot of my artistic ability and just my thought process from her. She's always been a big support system of me.
That's incredible. That's probably the reason that you are the way you are, right?
Yeah, no, for sure, man. And my dad too. My stepdad who passed away like 14 years ago, but he was really the reason why I am the way I am. Why I am the asshole I am today.
Cheers.
Love it, yeah. But no, the mannequins, my mom makes them, and she's in the middle of doing a couple of custom orders, so she's pretty phenomenal. If you guys go to nexumcreative.com, you'll be able to see a couple of them, and I'm actually going to post some more pictures of them soon, just to kind of help her out. But
these are for sale. Not these probably, but she does sell them. Not these,
but she does sell them. Yeah. No, for sure. She is just an incredibly artistic, creative person.
So I'll have some pictures of this on our Facebook too. But yeah, y'all go check out nexumcreative.com.
Yep, right? nexumcreative.com or Nexum Creative Media at Nexum Creative Media, and Nexum is NEXM.
Right.
Guess where I got that name from? Before you answer, I pulled it out of my butt. So I was sitting here trying to think. Before we go, I was sitting there thinking about names, right? And I put into a business name generator.
Oh God!
Right?
Yeah, I've done that.
Yeah, but it's not to pick a name from that. It's to spark ideas.
Right. Sure.
So I'm looking at it, and I saw NEX, and I was like, Nex.
Like that.
And then I saw an M, and I was like, Next Media. Nexum Creative. 2 hours later, LLC, baby.
Nice.
Because I was like, I made a little logo, and I was like, NEXM.
Put a bow on it. We're done.
Because I'll sit there forever and think of a name.
Dude, we were talking, I can't remember. This might have been last episode, but we were talking about, where did you come up with the name for Fort Worth Roots? And I'm like, I got tired of trying to draft a name. So
I live here and
I
like plants.
Yeah, exactly. It's like Fort Worth, and this is where it started, Fort Worth Roots. It's It's got Fort Worth roots.
And the more things
Put
you
a bow on
say,
it.
well, the more times you say the name, the better it sounds.
Yeah, sure.
Because
You're
Google,
convincing yourself.
Google, where in the hell did that come from?
I don't know.
But now
I couldn't live without it. Yeah.
Right, you can't live without Google, right?
Oh shit, Paul. Well, thank you for having me out to your studio.
Dude, thanks for having me on, man. This was a blast.
And you were talking about always needing to create something. If you need just an extra set of hands, and I tell a lot of our guests this, I'm not kidding. I want to be involved in other people's shit. So if you ever need an extra set of hands, holler at me.
If I ever get some shit come up, I'll be like, hey, listen.
Yeah, I need somebody to hold this GoPro.
Got you,
Whatever.
man.
Hey, I even you're a Canon guy, aren't you?
Sony.
Sony. Okay.
I'm a straight Sony guy.
I was a Nikon guy for a while. I haven't been messing with cameras in years now, but
Sony is just
they're mirrorless.
Ridiculous. Well, they're mirroring in their cinema because I have a cinema camera right now. They're Sony FX3.
Yeah.
Sony has just said, "Fuck you guys, we're racing past you."
Yeah,
like
they've been doing that for the last decade. Sony has been the top of the game for a while.
Because Canon's got incredible color.
Yeah.
But if you're shooting things in log anyways, then you can color whatever you want. But it's just Sony is just phenomenal. I can't. I'll never go back. There's a new lens that I got to show you. It's a probe lens.
Okay. Does it have? Is it the two? Does it have the two lenses inside of it?
No, it's a lens that's this long.
Oh shit!
And it's this big around, and half of it's waterproof.
What the fuck?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Just
you
wait.
got cool toys, Paul.
Oh, dude, that's another addiction. Like during the friggin' snow days that we had 3 months ago or whatever,
yeah.
2.5 months ago, whenever it was like those 2 days where we snowed in.
Nothing like the year before. Yeah.
Nothing like the year before. There was no Snowmageddon or whatever.
Yeah.
No, I don't leave me home alone because I bought a brand new camera and I bought a couple of lenses and I was like, I'm being productive.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah,
it makes me broke, but I love it. New toys.
I don't have that disease yet because I'm too broke to be fake broke. So I have to.
Well,
I don't have the credit or the cash to buy toys. So.
Well, I definitely have credit. That's called divorce. That's called divorce.
That'll do a thing to you.
That'll do multiple things.
We said the website.
Yep, nexumcreative.com, the Instagram, Nexum Creative Media.
NEXM.
Yep, NEXM Creative Media. And you guys can come by anytime. We're right over here off 7th Street area, White Settlement University. Come by, tour it, check it out.
Y'all should take him up on that offer too, because this place is cool and there's a bar here.
That's right. Come by, have a drink. There's actually a little co-working space that I've got a bar over there, like a Starbucks type bar that you can come, bring your laptop, and if you just want to be in a creative space, you're more than welcome to. I believe that if you're around, it's kind of like if you walk into a room full of angry people, you're probably going to end up leaving angry.
Right.
But if you walk into a room full of happy, creative people, you're going to end up either being the dick in the room that's unhappy, or you're going to be happy with everybody else.
Get along with them. Yeah.
That's right.
Well, I might take you up on that next time.
Dude,
I've got
come
some backlog to work on.
Dude, anytime. I'll have music kind of just low playing in the background. I've got stuff going on all the time, and shoot, we can play some Mario Kart here, man. I got some Nintendo Switch here because I love a good video game.
Yes, to all of that.
See? Telling you, man.
This is a pretty pimp little pad. You guys need to check it out. And you're located. Did we tell them where you're located?
Yeah.
What's the name of the street?
Yeah, this is right off Shamrock, 2808 Shamrock Avenue, Suite 104. Now, don't just come over here and start tearing shit up.
Holler at Paul.
Yeah, holler at me, man. You can DM me on Instagram or, you just go by the website, has the number, has everything, gets right to me, and you're more than welcome to, shoot, even if you just want to talk about some cool ideas. Yeah. I'm an idea guy. I got a whiteboard in the other room that I wheel out and just start writing shit down, man. That's my favorite thing in the world.
That's awesome. All right, well, thanks again, Paul, and anytime you want to be on Fort Worth Roots, you got a big project coming up and you want to talk about it, let me know. If you need something shared with our social media, we'll blast it out there for you. So
cool, man. I really appreciate it.
Just let me know. And I'm probably going to park my ass over there next to that skateboard here pretty soon.
You can park it wherever you want, man.
All right, Fort Worth Roots, thank y'all for listening. We'll see you next week. Bye. A huge thank you to our new friend Paul Rogers for inviting us out to Nexum Creative Media Studios. This place is awesome. If you are a creator, whether it's photography, podcasting, or what have you, you need to go out here and check this place out. Introduce yourself to Paul. Just see what he's got going in there and see how that fits into your process. Because this what he has created there is a tool that would be extremely useful to anybody in the creative space. Find all the information you need to at nexmcreative.com. It's nexmcreative.com. Paul, I mean it, man. Thank you so much. And I am intending to spend some time out there just absorbing that creative vibe and chilling in a space that's meant for exactly that. Just rubbing elbows with awesome people creating their own thing. So, yeah. And I'm going to take some more pictures of those crazy-ass mannequins. Those things are cool. I don't know why I'm so hung up on those and red curry tuna. But, red curry coconut. Paul, I'm sorry. Red curry coconut. I still haven't had any. I'm sticking with lemon. Thank y'all for being here. We are going to be executing the Monday releases for a little while. We cleared the backlog for the most part. Next week, I believe, is Psychedelic Panther episode, releasing next Monday. So we went out, we covered this event, and got to talk to, I think we have like 4 or 5 separate recordings. One of them is Aupuk the Destroyer, and that is a band with Matthew Broyles in it, and it has existed online for a number of years. I don't have all the facts in front of me, but they flew one of their bandmates in from Serbia to come out to Psychedelic Panther and play a live event. And because these guys have been operating on the internet for however long, years and years and years, and this being the first time that they've gotten together and played as a team, as a band, in a physical space, people were coming from all over the country to Psychedelic Panther. Psychedelic Panther is a festival put together by Joe Guzman, and this was year one. And the thing we did this last weekend out at Whiskey Garden, courtesy of our friend Royal, that was not a year one event, but it was the first one for this season to kick off their pool party thing. So we're catching all these like grand opening events, year one, first of season. It's cool. It's good feeling, good vibes, and we're just making a lot of awesome connections out there. And I'd love to see it. Next time we put up an event like this, some of them are happening pretty fast, and I don't have a chance to really properly promote them. Psychedelic Panther, we had a little bit of leeway. This thing with the Whiskey Garden happened overnight. But I'd love to see you out at one of these events. Come say hi, take a picture with us next to the banner, and I will try to give you as much notice as possible. But rest assured that whenever we go to these events, it's a good time. We're not putting the Fort Worth Roots banner up at the bingo hall. And Saturday with the Whiskey Garden, compliments of our friend Royal, I've never witnessed anything like that. I think that if it had just been me strolling by and saw the craziness that was going on next to the pool at Whiskey Garden, I'd have just breezed on by. But I sat there with our buddy Lucas Peterson, a friend of the show, for 4 hours, listening to hip-hop music and watching women dance, quote unquote. Anyway, it was a fun time. If you got a boy, or somebody that's got a boy ages 10 to 16, I think that's the age range, you need to check out Squad STX. Go to squadstx.com. It's an alternative to organizations like Boy Scouts, and takes place down there in Glen Rose, next to Dinosaur Valley. It's good times. Get your boys outside. squadstx.com. I mentioned this at the beginning of the episode, but because of one of our listeners' feedback, I changed the episode today. And if you have any kind of input that I can use to improve the show, I would love to hear from you. media@fortworthroots.com. Our listener had told me that because I had sped these episodes up so much, it's almost like nobody's breathing inside the recording. You know what I mean? Like there's no pauses. And I thought that eliminating all the pauses were a mark of a good post-edit job, right? But the guest shared with me that actually is kind of anxiety-inducing, and it's difficult to listen to the episode because there are no pauses. It doesn't give your brain time to really absorb what the person on the other end is saying. So that was extremely important critique. It's good feedback. And as a result, I immediately changed it. I heard this yesterday. I changed the process today, sitting here editing. So if you do have anything constructive to tell me, let me know, and know that I will pay attention to it. And even if it's not constructive. Maybe you just want to tell me what you had for dinner or how your day went. That's okay too. And this is just kind of what I do at the end of these episodes. Ramble. So now you know that's a thing. That's it for me. I don't have anything else to tell you. I don't believe we don't have any events scheduled currently, but we are always looking for new stuff to get into. I tell our guests and I tell the people at the shows that we go to, if you ever want us to get involved at Fort Worth Roots with something that you're doing, even if you just need an extra set of hands, let me know, and I'll see how we can fit into the process, whatever you got going on. media@fortworthroots.com is the best way to get a hold of me by email. That's it. And I will see you Monday. Thank y'all for listening. Bye-bye.